the 49ers, they had a solid offseason fixing up their defense, but the offensive line didn't get that fixed. And I believe that this will be the Achilles heel of the 49ers. I'm going to explain on more on that in a little bit. Stay tuned. It's football time. Alrighty, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the All Around Sports Podcast. So sports, everything on this channel. I'm your host, Antonio. Today, we are talking about the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers have had a busy, jam-packed offseason, letting go of 6 key defensive players, but of course, drafting a few new ones as far as Mikael Williams, Upton Stout, and a few others. But mainly, their offense lost 2 key weapons in Deebo Samuel and Jordan Mason. But the offensive line was one of the main weak points of the team last year, as they had allowed 31 sacks on, or actually 36 sacks on Brock Purdy. And on top of it, they also were not the best at protecting him. They had 37% pressured on Brock Purdy, which was the 9th most in the league, and they were blitzed 31%, which was also 9th most in the league. But I'm going to explain why I believe the 49ers offensive line will be the Achilles heel of their team. I'm going to explain more on that in just a second, and I'm also wearing my Mariners gear representing Cal Raleigh, the home run derby winner. So hopefully the Mariners can do something this year. Who knows? Maybe finally break the curse. We'll see what happens, though. But if you guys do enjoy this video, do me a favor and smash the like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. For now, let's talk about the Niners offensive line. The 49ers offensive line. I believe that this is going to be the Achilles heel because let me explain why. They lost one of their key rotational pieces on their offensive line. I believe his name was Malik Collins. I think that was his name, or I think that was the defensive line. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I think I don't know the name of the offensive lineman they lost. I think it was a key rotational piece to Trent Williams. But if we look at the offensive line, Trent Williams is only their big name. Trent Williams is their only guy that they actually have, and he's not going to be in the league much longer, which is why I was constantly polling for the 49ers to draft the offensive line with their first round pick, because I think the defense was another need that was necessary. I think the offensive line was another, because how can your offensive line perform if you don't have anyone to protect him? Trent Williams, I get he's a good guy. He's an amazing offensive lineman. But you can't protect him with just one offensive lineman. You need a team to win games. And they got offensive weapons, but how's Purdy supposed to get into those weapons with all these offensive linemen being injured? Trent Williams is the most injured offensive lineman in the NFL. He's always injured. Every single year, except for others, has always been hurt. Every time. And when I look at the offense of San Francisco, I'm a little concerned. Because first you had Brandon Ayuk wanting out. And then also, something's going on with him. We don't know entirely what. And now you got Jawan Jennings wanting a new contract or getting traded off the team. Say what? Now, and with you paying Purdy $265 million, it may not open up to that category. So the Niners may have no choice but to trade him if it all comes to worse. But when I look at their weapons, you got George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Jawan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk, and also Kyle Juszczyk that you released and then re-signed. You can't get to those weapons if you don't have an offensive line. Everyone knows offensive line is the big piece. Look at the Chiefs last year. They were getting slaughtered last year in the Super Bowl to the Philadelphia Eagles. They were getting slaughtered. If they meet up with the Eagles in the playoffs, I'm telling you all this right now, I think the Eagles put up 70 on them.
I feel pretty sorry for the next guy who looks at me funny.
What about that guy?
because this offensive line is so bad. I think the 49ers are actually one of the worst offensive lines in the league. And that's a lot coming from me. Because when I look at the offensive line of San Francisco, that was a big need. Their offensive line has been a big need for years, and John Lynch has continuously passed up on that position. And look at it this way: you didn't even go after a free agent. You didn't even go after a draft candidate. You had guys in the draft available at that time. I think like Moran Membu. You had Josh Simmons. You had Donovan Jackson, Gray Zabel available. You needed an offensive line. You need an offensive line more than you need a defense right now. Because if Purdy's entering into a year where he's now under contract, under a 5-year, $265 million deal, what is he going to be able to do without an offensive line to protect him?
Squidward, are you okay? No.
Let me ask that question. If he was pressured 37% last year and blitzed 31%, and not only that, but you didn't even fix the offensive line, do you know how many times this guy could possibly get sacked? He could possibly get sacked 58 times.
What can I do anything right?
This is what I'm telling y'all, Niner fans. I'm actually doing y'all a favor. I'm trying to point out one of your weaknesses, and y'all are saying, "Oh no, we had a great draft. Oh, we are going to be a Super Bowl contender." Well, let me ask this question: did Damian Woody and Mike T think that on First Take on Wednesday? No, they didn't.
You! What are you making? Come closer. It's all right. Come on, I'm not going to bite you. Oh, how pretty. But how will that...
Make it more of a reality.
Uh,
They think y'all are not even close to a Super Bowl, and I agree with them on that. But that's another story for another day. When I look at the Niners, your offensive line is the big piece right now. If you don't have an offensive line, you're going to get slaughtered on offense. Because when I look at the schedule of some of the teams you're going to be going against, it's not an easy road. You got the Seahawks week 1, which their defense is going to be much more improved. The Saints, I do believe you'll get an easy win there. And then you got the Cardinals and then the Jags. But I just am not the guy that trusts in this offense. And then we look at some of the other teams that they play: Texans, Bucks, Falcons, Bears, Browns, Giants. So many other guys, so many other teams are going to be sneaky. I think actually Carolina has the chance to be scary this year. I think they're going to be a sneaky team. I don't expect them to get 9 wins and all that, but I think they're going to be more competitive. And then the Giants. Last year, they were competitive in some of their games. This was the same team that went into Seattle and beat them. And then a few weeks later went at home to Indianapolis to take on the Colts and beat them, to eliminate them from the playoffs. If y'all lose to the Giants, you're not making the playoffs, because I've said it. The Giants are a kryptonite team. If you lose to them, you ain't making the playoffs, because they have that effect on teams. Just look at the Seahawks and Colts from last year. But when I look at the Niners, you can't pay Purdy $265 million. Although I thought he did need a contract, I would have given him $45 million per season. That's what I would have done. Because look at Mahomes. He was on a 10-year deal that gives him $45 million per season. And he's got 3 Super Bowls. That's 3 Super Bowls more than the 49ers have had in the 21st century.
oh, my... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Now you die. I'll be back. Oh, Monica.
The 49ers and even Jerry Rice had something to say as well about this whole thing. Let me pull up that little conversation that he had. Let me pull up this conversation real quick. Let me pull it up on the screen. He said, quote, I just feel we added too many pieces. The reason why I say that is there are so these guys are young guys. Super Bowl 60 is going to be here in San Francisco. I would have preferred to sort of leave everything like last year, add on to that, and have a chance for this coming year. And I agree with Jerry Rice. He has the right to say this because he's a multi-time Super Bowl champion. And when I look at this, and Jerry Rice is absolutely correct. You should have kept most of your pieces. You had the money, you had the cash, and you lost 6 key defensive players, including 3 big names like Charvarius Ward, Talio Funga, and Dre Greenlaw. Talio Funga and Dre Greenlaw were 2 leaders on their team. They were leaders. Dre Greenlaw, if he didn't get hurt in that Super Bowl, who knows? They probably went in, going on ahead and win it. But I would question that. But San Francisco, I'm trying to do you all a favor. I'm trying to warn you of what your biggest need is going into the season, because it's 50 days before the season starts. Maybe it's going to be sooner than that because I'm making videos 3 times a week because of what my CapCut makes. Still working on getting that fixed. But Niners, I'm trying to do you all a favor. I'm trying to help you out as a Seahawks fan. I'm trying to help you. And y'all are turning me down like straight up pastrami cheese. Because that is what y'all are doing. You never pay attention to what other fans are talking about all around the NFL because you're so busy about your Niners trying to make the playoffs when they possibly might not even do that this year. Y'all are so busy and wrapped up in this draft, which was a D according to PFF, by the way, when the rest of the division had better drafts. Cardinals, A+, Seahawks, A, Rams, B+. They had better drafts than y'all Niners did. Now, I agree with the defense. I agree the defense has been needed to get renewed. But your offensive line, you could have used one of those 4 picks that you wasted on different guys, 2 offensive linemen. I mean, you drafted Curtis Root, that shouldn't even have been in the college football playoffs last year. That should have been Cam Ward. Then you also got 2 receivers, one from Ole Miss, one from Montana. And then you drafted Jordan James, the running back that got beat down to the BTA, to the Ducks living you know what in against the Ohio State. Because that is what happens here. When I look at the 49ers, I have said this on occasions, I'm going to say it again. They're always going to be a team that screws themselves up.
Well, you scared yourself.
But the key difference between you and me? My body can feel pain.
Every year, it's always something with this team. Every year. Last year, it was injuries. The year before that was Dre Greenlaw getting hurt and also a little miscued by Brock Purdy, but that's another story for another day. And then a few years before, in the Super Bowl 56 area, Super Bowl 57, y'all winning the NFC Championship, got beat down by the Philadelphia Eagles, with, of course, now knowing this is 4 quarterbacks in a single season. Then in the NFC Championship game against the Rams, y'all had a 10-point lead. What happened? You lost it. And then, I mean, I can go on, and I'm not going to because I've talked about this before. My final point is this to United fans. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to avoid you from heartbreak before the season starts. Because, as I've said on countless amount of occasions, just wait. Remain composed. No matter how good the 49ers might look, no matter how good you think they are, don't lose it. No matter how hard it might get, when the expectations are at the highest peak, the 49ers will always find a way to come crashing back down to earth.
Just one sucker!
who they are. They always find a way to mess themselves up. They screw themselves up every single year. Whether it's Kyle Shanahan's scared coaching, whether it's Brock Purdy's miscues, whether it's injuries, whether it's the GM, it could be anything. It could be even a player getting injured going on a dang plane for all we know because the 49ers are so injury riddled. And to be honest, I'm not hating against you. I'm just to make that clear. I'm not hating on y'all. I'm trying to do y'all a favor. I'm actually trying to help you. I'm trying to help y'all so you don't get heartbroken. Because like Cowboy fans every year. I'm trying to help you all in that category because you haven't won a Super Bowl since 1995.
I never thought I'd say this, but I'd rather be a dead me than an alive you. Bye.
But that's my final point. But 49ers, if you don't fix that offensive line, it's going to be your Achilles heel for this upcoming season. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys think the offensive line is going to be the Achilles heel of the 49ers? Let me know in the comments what you guys think down below. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, do me a favor and smash like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, I'll see you on the next one. Ciao for now.